Hello everyone, Jeff with the Green Review. Tree trunks do not normally need to be painted or wrapped in pipe, wire, or cloth. There are times when the tree wrap can help. Trees with thin bark may be nibbled on by rodents, especially in regions with heavy snow cover. Each fall, thin-barked trees and fruit trees can be wrapped in wire mesh, cloth, or paper, and tree wraps to prevent rodent damage. The wrap should be removed in the spring to prevent insects and disease organisms from hiding behind the wrap and damaging the tree. Male deer will sometimes attack tree trunks to rub the velvet off their antlers. Use plastic pipes like this or wire mesh to prevent deer and even beavers from damaging a tree. Sun scald kills the live tissue on one side of the tree trunk. The sun warms the south or southwest facing side of the trunk during cold winter days. The cells begin to grow as they warm up in the sunshine, and they start consuming their antifreeze sugars. Within hours, water in the cells freezes at night as the temperature drops below freezing and the cells have less sugar to use as antifreeze. Ice in the cells and between the cells ruptures the cells, and that area of cambium cells dies. The side of the trunk may develop a large crack called a frost crack. Sun scald and frost cracks seem to happen more often on trees planted near streets than on trees planted elsewhere in the landscape. It may be that the trees were in a sheltered nursery row and then are now planted next to the street where they're exposed to more direct sunlight. They didn't have a need for thick bark in the shade of the nursery, but do need the thick bark when it comes to being the lone street tree. These problems may happen on a tree that has a lot of branches pruned off too. That exposes the trunk to more sun in the wintertime. Sun scald and frost cracks are more likely to develop on thin-barked trees like beech, birch, cherry, and maple. Wrap young trees and newly planted trees each fall and unwrap them in each spring until the bark develops a thick layer. If left on too long, tree wrap can shelter insect and disease organisms, like I said, and it can keep the tree trunk too wet. It can allow decay organisms to damage the bark. A tight tree wrap, especially a plastic one, can inhibit gas exchange through the bark, limiting the growth of the trunk and the thickness of the bark. And so that's why a tree wrap made out of weed barrier cloth that's got a lot of pore space works really well. And when you need to use the corrugated pipe for deer, get it so it's a big enough one that it'll sit loosely around the tree trunk. And then on wire mesh, you can use zip ties to hold them together. And these can last a little longer, but they will fill up with leaves in the fall. So if you put them on too early, you may have a lot of leaves and debris accumulate down there, which can also then eventually let decay organisms start working on the bark. And this is Jeff with the Green Review. Thanks for watching.